talked a lot about just how this was going to be a good test for Shohei Ohtani. He, of course, was excellent, but how has this series proven just to be more of a test for the bullpen and some of their struggles that they're kind of going through right now against a very talented team?
They clearly, they're lacking confidence. I think that it's kind of, they all want to pitch well. They all want the opportunities, and they're just kind of they're not making good pitches when they need to, and a little careful at times. And so I think for me, I believe in the talent, but right now they're just kind of just don't have the confidence that they need to have to be consistent. And so when you're facing a team like this, that's won a division, that's going to grind at bats, you've got to continue to make good pitches. And when you don't, they're going to capitalize.
It's just the, I guess, elongated experience of some of these inconsistencies just made that a little bit more challenging for the group with their confidence. And do you think it's something that, considering what now 12 games left of the regular season, they can find a way to kind of turn things around as a group?
Yeah, I absolutely think they can. There's a lot of guys that have experience. There's some guys that have had nice years that are young players. So I do believe that there's time. I think for me, it's trying to, get these guys to understand that what's done in the past, it has to be behind them, and they've got to have a short memory. And I think that's the thing that they're having a hard time, getting past the short memory of today's a new day, it's a new opportunity, and go out there and impose your will, be aggressive, and not be afraid to fail. And I think that that's where we got to get the guys to. I think as a unit. And so, there's no roles. It's just kind of when the phone rings, and that's their mantra, be ready to pitch. And so that hasn't changed. And so when they get the opportunity, just feel good about it and go out there and compete.
Dave, given
conversation with Shohei by the dugout railing there in the fifth, how did you make the decision?
Well, he wasn't going to go back out. We've been very steadfast in every situation as far as inning for his usage, from 1 inning to 2 innings to 3 to 4 to 5. We haven't deviated from that. So I was trying to get his pulse on for going forward, where he's at, continuing to go to the 6th inning, and he says, "Feel okay," and so that was good. But I'm not going to have a plan for 5 innings and then he pitches well and say, "Hey, now you're going to go 6 innings," and then he's too important, and if something does happen, then that's on me for changing it, and we haven't done that all year, so I'm not going to do that right now. So yeah, I would have loved to have had him go out there, but if the conversation was, if he's efficient, he can go to the 6th inning, that's a different conversation. But it was a hard 5 innings, and that's just the way it goes, and guys have got to do their jobs.
Just to make sure the conversation was not so much about gathering income for that start, but for the future.
For the future, yeah. That's what my decision was already going to be done. So I'm trying to get a gauge on him going out there, and he's open to whatever. But if I don't have that conversation, this is a different situation. It's been different this whole year. And so he's 2 players in one. And for me to try to do something and deviate, and if something happens, then we lose 2 players. And so if the conversation isn't had, I'm not going to do it. We haven't done it all year. So I'm not going to do it tonight.
Does a night like this, when you start to look ahead to October, kind of raise, you guys figure out how far you can push them in?
Yeah, I mean, if there's conversations that of the powers that be, and Shohei included, if everyone's in the conversation saying, "Hey, we'll push them," that's a different conversation. But what I knew going in is that he was going to be 5 innings, so that's where it stops.
How much, right? So today was basically, that's like a health decision, right? It's not so much like a baseball decision.
Well, his thing is going to be a health decision the whole way until we get to next year. It's actually going to be a health decision going forward.
But, say it's October now, you guys have a conversation about can he go 6, right? It puts the health maybe a little bit more at risk. There is some risk involved there. how much is his say going to factor into whatever you guys kind of like ultimately decide doing there?
It would definitely, certainly has weight. But I think that that's something that is good for all of us to talk about beforehand and then evaluate stress of innings and, up downs. He did a 3+ 10 days ago. And then now to say that he's just going to go 6 innings, those are things that, and plus the conversation was ahead. So, as you get to the postseason and, it's a different conversation for sure.
Obviously, you've been a player, right?
Yeah.
You understand kind of windows, right, about windows and stuff. They can close pretty quickly. If he's kind of adamant about, I want to take this shot now. Again, I mean, knowing kind of like where the player's kind of mindset is, like how, I guess, sympathetic would you be?
I would be sympathetic. When you get into when you're in the postseason, I would be more sympathetic. But you also have to understand that the player's always going to feel that they can do it. And this is his first year off Tommy John. We've been very diligent in how we've managed him. And I think because of that, we're in a very good spot today. And so you can look back at all of his outings and said, could I have pushed him an extra inning without the conversation? Maybe. But, we're in this spot today because I think we've been very diligent.
So if the conversation is had to go deeper in October for him, isn't there also the caveat that he hasn't done that in the regular season yet, pitched that deep? Wouldn't that come into play?
Yeah, but you're talking about 6 innings. That's why I wanted to get the gauge. You're not talking about 7 or 8 innings. You're talking about 6 innings potentially.
So if he hadn't done it, then you'd still be okay if it was October?
Yeah. Because I think that, we've done the 5 and, I think, yeah.
The bullpen, how difficult has it been, especially as you've kind of leaned on guys who've been better recently, to see them start to struggle a bit, like Justin tonight, Jack last night? Like, how much does that kind of add to the difficulty of trying to manage that?
Yeah, I mean, the group is sort of going through it right now, and they've got to kind of find a way to remain confident. And like I said, just kind of let go of, the recent baggage, because at times each one of these guys has been fantastic. And so I know that the moment is not getting too big for them, and they've got to just kind of focus and make pitches. And that's just kind of what it boils down to. And then you got to get some confidence and keep going. But right now, you see it. Blake had 5 pitches and 2 outs, and then he gives up, a double, and then, he goes 3-0, and Stott's a contact guy, and then you got the 9-hitter up. So I figured I'd take a chance with the 9-hitter, and, he makes a bad pitch to him. So it's like, he's still Blake Trinan, but I think that he's still got to go out there and impose his will and make good pitches.
Did today, given both the opponent and the performance, kind of teach you anything about the viability of Ohtani as a pitcher in the playoffs? I'm not talking about length here. I'm just talking about his effectiveness.
Yeah, it did. And I had a really good feeling, I think we all did, that he was going to come in and pitch well tonight. And I thought he and Ben did a great job together. I thought the fastball command glove side was fantastic. The sweeper was great. They were obviously not getting many good swings off him. He was dominant. I'm
sorry, going back to the Ohtani thing real quick. When you guys have these discussions, I assume it's you, like Andrew, front office people.
The agent.
Now, Dr. Elatraj, I assume, right? He's like the actual medical guy.
This is it's a plan that we've all talked about and laid out.
Does this really kind of go beyond the doctor? I mean, if the doctor says 5 is it, I mean, isn't that kind of the end of the conversation, or is there any kind of wiggle room?
Absolutely. I mean, but I think when you get into the playoffs, I think that, again, this is a conversation that we've all had, and we've done it all year. So it's, I'm not gonna go against what we did. I mean, that's just what we talked about.
Shohei told us that there's a possibility he could play the outfield in the postseason. What do you feel about that?
He's a great teammate. He wants to help us win a championship. So I'm all about it. So I don't know if it's going to happen. He hasn't played the outfield, but I appreciate the fact that he's open to whatever we need. So I don't know how that looks, though. I don't. He hasn't taken a fly ball all year.
Would that theoretically be a way to keep him in as a relief option?
Yeah, that is a way. That is a way. But again, I don't think anything should be off the table. But yeah, we'll see. But that's great that he said that.